Hey everyone and welcome. So you're in Qatar for Ramadan 2026, and let me tell you, the entire country just shifts into this incredible, unique rhythm. It's a really special time. Whether this is your first Ramadan here or you're an old hand, we've put together the essential guide to help you navigate everything. Let's get right into it.
All right, here's what we're covering today. First up, we'll talk about how your workday changes. Then, a super important briefing on how the city runs. After that, we'll get into the public rules and how we can all show respect. And finally, the best part, celebrating iftar. Let's go.
Okay, first things first, let's get some dates in the diary. Right now, Ramadan is expected to kick off around February 18th. The last 10 nights, a really significant period, begin around March 11th, and then the big celebration, Eid al-Fitr, is likely to be on March 19th or 20th. Now, the key thing to remember here is that little asterisk. It all depends on the official moon sighting, so keep an eye out for that final confirmation.
All right, let's jump into our first section. This is probably the one that's going to affect your daily routine the most, your professional life during Ramadan.
So the biggest change, shorter workdays for everybody. If you're in the government sector, you're looking at a 5-hour day. For all of us in the private sector, it's a 6-hour day, which adds up to 36 hours a week. And listen, this isn't just a nice perk, it's the law. It's baked right into Qatar's labor law.
Okay, and it gets better, because there's some real flexibility here. A lot of places will let you pick your start time, usually somewhere in that window between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. And here's a big one for government employees. On Fridays, up to 30% of staff can work from home. The golden rule for all of this, though, you've got to talk to your manager and get it all approved beforehand. Communication is key.
Now, for all you managers out there, listen up, because this one's for you. These are your absolute must-dos. You need to apply these rules fairly across your whole team. It's also on you to adjust the workload. You can't expect the same output in fewer hours. Try to get your big meetings done in that 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. slot. And this last one is critical. You have to monitor overtime. It's not just good practice, it's a legal requirement.
And speaking of overtime, let's talk money. If you have to work extra hours during the week, you're entitled to 125% of your normal pay. But check this out, if they need you on a Friday or a holiday, that rate jumps up to 150%. So a pretty significant difference there.
Now, this is something that makes Qatar's approach really stand out. You see, in some other countries in the region, these shorter hours are only for Muslim employees. But here in Qatar, it's for everyone. It doesn't matter what your faith is or where you're from. The law applies to all employees, which is a really inclusive and universal way of doing things.
Okay, work life is covered. So how does the rest of the city adapt? Let's get into our briefing on city operations, looking at essential services and how you can get around.
I want you to think of this next part as a mandatory briefing, okay? This is the absolute need-to-know info for keeping your life running smoothly and safely. If you're new to the country or even just new to your job, this is the critical stuff.
So, the main takeaway here, the really important stuff doesn't stop. We're talking police, traffic, and all emergency services from the Ministry of Interior. They're on the job 24/7. Same goes for Hamad Medical Corporation. ERs, ICUs, ambulances, they're all running around the clock. The only thing to note is that the administrative offices, for paperwork and stuff, they will have shorter hours, usually from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And what about getting around? Well, public transport adjusts to the new rhythm of the city. The Doha Metro runs later into the night to help with all the evening travel. And for the Karwa buses, you'll find they're much more frequent in the evenings, specifically between 6 p.m. and 11 p.m., right when people are out and about after iftar.
All right, we've nailed the logistics of work and transport. Now, let's shift gears and talk about something just as important, the cultural side of things. This is all about public rules and, really, just showing respect.
Okay, I've got a question for you. When it comes to Ramadan in public, what do you think is the #1 most important rule that absolutely everyone needs to know? There it is, 3,000 riyals. That is the maximum fine for eating, drinking, or smoking in public during fasting hours. And this is so important. This law applies to everybody, whether you're fasting or not. It's a sign of respect for those who are. Of course, if you're not fasting, there are designated private areas in hotels and some food courts where you can eat.
Beyond that big rule, here's a quick checklist of other things to be mindful of. It's a good idea to dress a bit more modestly during the month. Try to avoid blasting music from your car or phone in public. It's also best to refrain from public displays of affection. And please, this last one is a huge safety tip. Be so careful driving in the hour before iftar. The roads get really hectic with people rushing to break their fast. Okay, enough about rules. Let's talk about the most amazing part of any Ramadan day, the evening celebrations and the beautiful tradition of iftar.
Nothing quite says Ramadan in Qatar, like the incredible iftar tents. They pop up all over the city, and they're just these amazing places where you can experience genuine Arabian hospitality and, let's be honest, some of the most fantastic food you'll have all year.
So if you're thinking, I have to try one, where do you even start? Well, we've got our top 3 picks for you. First, the Ritz-Carlton. It's a classic for a reason, with amazing Qatari, Lebanese, and international dishes. Then you have the Four Seasons, which is right on the beach. You just can't beat that location for an iftar buffet. And if you want something a bit more modern and trendy, check out the Mondrian. They do contemporary Gulf food and often have cool themed nights.
And that's our whirlwind tour of Ramadan in Qatar. From the shorter work days to those incredible iftar tents, it's a month that completely transforms the country. So, as we wrap this up, we'll just leave you with this one thought to ponder. How are you going to embrace the unique and beautiful spirit of this time?